Well, greetings everyone. It's a very beautiful morning out here, and I'm so glad to be coming to you with yet another video on how to prepare to receive one day check. Hope you are going to enjoy it, so please stay tuned until the end. It's your boy Alfred Adomati, and I take this opportunity to welcome you to our channel, Alpham UG, where we intend to share with you every little knowledge we have about livestock farming while mentoring and also learning from one another. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit on that notification bell so that you don't miss on any of our uploads. And for those who have already subscribed, we don't take you for granted. We really appreciate your contribution, and we encourage you to like and comment. As I said earlier, today we want to look at how to prepare to receive one-day chicks. Speaking about one-day chicks, we are looking at poultry farming. So before we could look at how to prepare to receive one-day chicks, let us first look at what are some of the basic requirements for starting a poultry farm. So obviously, if you intend to do poultry farm, there are some basic requirements that you need to put in place to have a successful poultry farming. So what do you think could be some of those basic requirements? Now, these requirements which I'm going to list are actually my personal opinion, which could vary, which could be different from yours or any other person's opinion, but I think are basics which are cutting across not only for poultry but even any other venture you would wish to do. So in the first point, in my opinion, would be knowledge. Knowledge to me comes first before any other thing in any venture one would want to undertake. But how do you seek knowledge about what you want to do? How do we get knowledge about poultry farming? It could be through literature review. Go around, read very many books which are out there about poultry farming or any venture that you want to do. You could read, you could use the internet. You could possibly go on Google and Google about poultry farming, or use the different social media platforms. We are so glad that today there are several youth and very many other people out there who have willingly come out to give the little they know about these things. So I encourage each and every person to utilize the social media resourcefully by reciting and looking for that venture, looking for information about that venture you would want to undertake. But you could also possibly acquire knowledge about what you want to do through farm visiting. This is very, 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 very important, and it's because it provides you with a platform where you could have a practical feeling of that what you want to undertake. So I encourage you, before you want to start a poultry farm, please visit as many farms, as many poultry farms as possible, because you're going to notice that every other person out there has a different way how they apply or come about or go about different things, and this is going to give you an upper hand that you will be prepared for any upcomings in your poultry farming. So take it up to you to visit as many poultry farms as possible before you could get to think of even starting it. Then the second basic which comes after acquiring knowledge is capital. Now, this is crazy. This sounds crazy. Why do I say sounds crazy? I've had several friends, a lot of friends who come around and tell me, man, you know, I have been looking at this and this venture, and I think I can do it. I've now acquired the knowledge, and indeed it can make some good money. Of course, we always want to do ventures because we expect to get out of them, to get something out of them. But dear friends, I can promise you, for any other thing you want to do out there, if you don't have at least a startup capital, there is no way you are going to do it. So this is very, very important that you should have a startup capital. Of course, this varies depending on your capability, your capacity, and most importantly, the level at which you would wish to start. So, of course, as you know, one who would wish to start with, let's say, 50 or 100 chicken does not require a startup capital as the one who would wish to do 1,000, 2,000 or 5,000 chicken. These are going to vary, but the most important thing is that you must have some savings as a startup capital to be able to run the different things which are required in the poultry farming. And I encourage each and every person out there. It doesn't mean that when we talk about capital as a basic need, doesn't mean that you must have all the capital required to do such a thing. And we have promised to be a living testimony to the world that one could start very small and get to the top. Please just subscribe, hit on the notification bell, follow each and every video that we are going to upload. You're going to notice that our start is very humble and we are so dedicated. We are not yet to give up until when we hit it to the top, and we are going to make it together. I'm really so glad that I'm sharing with you this today, and in the near future I bear and I'm sure that you'll watch us to have moved a very great journey which will be testimony to very many. The third basic requirement is land. Of course, for any venture, you will need space where you're going to carry it out. Particularly for poultry, you will need land, or you will need a space where you are going to set the structure. Lucky enough, for poultry farming, it is not that space-intensive venture. It doesn't require a lot of space. You could possibly do 100, 200, 300, 500 chicken in a very small piece of land. You don't need an acre to start. In fact, an acre can do a very big commercial poultry farming, which could earn you millions of Ugandan shillings or thousands of dollars. So please, as much as it requires a little space, it is still a basic need that you still need to have land or space where you're going to set your structure. Now, having acquired land or space where you are going to set your structure, the other thing you are going to look at is the chicken structure. This is the fourth major basic, on my opinion. A proper chicken structure. What do I mean by proper chicken structure? It must be well ventilated. It must be well roofed, that there is no leakage. It must have flat and, if possible, cemented floor, and a cemented floor. And there is another important thing, that your poultry structure should run from the east to the western direction. Why from east to western direction? That is the path or movement. That is where the sun rises and sets off. It is very good when the sun moves in the same direction. In fact, moves alongside the same direction of your poultry structure. This is going to help you avoid risks of chicken overcrowding at particular times of the day. So one of these days, I intend to prepare a video on a proper poultry structure. It is going to be detailed, having details on even the spacing required for the different types of chicken. So if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe, hit on that notification bell so that you don't miss on these videos which are going to be rolling up. So the fifth major basic is feeds and clean water. Now, speaking about feeds, because you cannot start a poultry farm when you haven't prepared. You cannot, prepare to receive one-day chicks when you haven't prepared the feed or what you're going to give your one-day chick. Of course, for the one-day chick, the best feed should have been pellets. Of course, we are going to look at how these pellets look like. And as I promised, I'm going to be updating you, and we want to move this with you. I'll be giving you how we do breeding, how we are going to do our breeding right from day one until when we are done with breeding. So please keep locked in. So those were some of the basic requirements, which I said number 1 is knowledge, number 2 is having capital, number 3 is the land. Then we set our structure. Having set our structure, we find the feed and the clean source of water. So having prepared all those, then we are ready to receive our one-day chicks. But before we could receive our one-day chicks, there are yet some other things that you need to prepare and put in place to receive these one-day chicks. So what are these things? And that is basically what we want to look at today. So please, I'm waiting on you who hasn't subscribed. Please subscribe, hit on that notification bell so that we move at par. Well, I have always said, and I will say it again, as Alpharm UG, we want to become a living testimony that one could possibly begin very small and make it to the topmost. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Now, this right here is our structure where we want to start our poultry farm. As you can, of course, it isn't the best structure required, but of course, as you have seen, we have tried to do a good ventilation. The structure is well protected with good biosecurity. Of course, not the best, but we shall do whatever improvements which are required. So this is where we want to start, and this structure measures 8 feet by 14 feet. Of course, we are certainly sure that this can be able to accommodate and raise up to 100 broiler chicken. So this is the structure we have prepared to receive our 100 chicken for the start. And as I told you, please subscribe, keep tuned, hit on that notification bell, follow us as we want to live up to being a living testimony that one could start small and make it to the topmost. Let's get in and see how we have prepared to receive one-day chick. Yes, we are supposed to have a foot bath here. We haven't put it. Of course, we are intending to receive our chicken soon from now, but we are going to prepare all those other remaining things. They already set, just a matter of putting them in place. Here we go. Pa-pam! So this is how we have done the preparation inside, and this is what I want to discuss with you today. Now, having made your structure, as I have told you earlier, that there are some of the things that you need to prepare, which are basics that you need to put in place to receive your one-day chick, because you know one-day chicks are vulnerable to very many things. So you will need to prepare enough to see that you have them covered in all possible ways that you avoid any mortality. We are not expecting to receive any mortality with this very small preparation we have done here, and we intend to do it to our best to avoid mortality as much as possible. So what are some of those things you need to prepare to receive one-day chick? Just to start with, having set and constructed your structure, one, you will need to clean up and disinfect inside your structure. Of course, if you have constructed your structure, or you had a structure which you intend to use to receive one-day chicks, one basic thing is that you need to first disinfect. You need to clean it up and disinfect it by use of different disinfectants like the Vim, the Jik, and so on, to avoid any bacteria, fungi, or any germs which could pose a threat of disease to your chicken. The second thing is add and lay litter. Now, speaking about litter, one could choose to use different there are different things that you could possibly use as litter. Yes, for us, we have chosen to use the rice husks, which we hope is going to do for us. Of course, many have used and it has worked for them. One could also use wood savings, and it also works very well. And another one could use coffee husks. So here you don't need to kill yourself. You use whatever is available. Even cotton husk, all those could work, but you use whatever is available in your area. And for the litter, at least put 6 inches or more, depending on your capability. As you can see here, yeah, this is quite some good inches which can hold the chicken droppings for a good time. Why do we put litter? Of course, we want to avoid the ammonia which is produced from the chicken droppings, that when you have litter in place, it will be able to absorb the ammonia, so that your chicken do not have to take in the ammonia which could possibly cause to them diseases. Now, having added and laid your litter, which I said could be of wood saving, coffee husk, rice husk, like we have done here, you need to go ahead and also disinfect this litter. So here we have already disinfected our litter. We sprayed it some good days back, and now it is so ready that it's we can now receive our one-day chicks. Now, after putting our litter, we look at laying what they call the brooding paper. Now, not every other person could afford to buy a brooding paper, and as I told you, and as already you could notice that our beginning is very humble, we have chosen to use cardboards. Speaking about cardboards, we simply mean pieces, these boxes. This is the cardboard. As you can see, for us, we have chosen to use boxes in place of brooding paper, and this is at completely free cost. Just got used up empty boxes from different shops, and of course we had to disinfect them, and now is what we are going to use. One could also possibly use newspapers. Yes, as you can see, for us, we have first laid a layer of newspapers, and on top of it, and we have put the cardboards. Now, why do we put this brooding paper or the cardboard or newspaper? You know, the one-day chicks are still very young and haven't explored the world, that they may not differentiate between the feed and then the litter that you had put. Take for instance, for us, we have used the rice husk. Now, the one-day chick may end up consuming the rice husk thinking that it is food, and this can become very, very, very disastrous. Of course, this is going to cause a lot of issues, especially with the digestive issues, and possibly can even cause mortality or death, and that is what we want to avoid. We want to have as small as possible mortality during brooding. At least, at most, should be 2 to 3%. So that's the reason as to why we have to put the brooding paper, or one could use the cardboards or even newspaper. Of course, beyond preventing the chicks from picking the litter, it also helps in absorbing their droppings and keep the environment even way cleaner, as you could see here. Yeah, this at least looks more clean for a very young, especially one-day chick, as compared to this what we have here. If it was wood savings, it would even look more worse, because as you know how wood savings look like. Now, having laid and prepared our ground by putting on the brooding paper or cardboards, we look at the drinkers and feeders, as you can see here. Now, these are the feeders that for us we have chosen. And about feeders, this is about a 4-kilogram feeder, and I would advise any other person out there that when you are acquiring feeders, please enable to acquire something which is big, at least from the 4-kilogram. Of course, this is going to help you save money, other than buying the very small feeders which you're going to use only for brooding, and immediately after brooding you need to acquire another set of feeders. So here are the feeders which we have chosen to use, because these ones we know and we are certain that these ones do not waste food, and we are trying to, of course, one would want to avoid wasting the chicken feed, because that's the most expensive thing in poultry farming. So if you can avoid it, the better. But of course, you can use different other feeders, like the ones made from wood. The wooden feeders, they are way cheaper than these ones, and can also at least provide some good protection, as in feed wastage of feed. But of course, one could also improvise by making cuttings. As you can see here, for our one-day chicks, we are intending to put some feeds using this, what is here. Of course, this isn't the best because it is metallic. We are going to change it and instead put plastic. Of course, as we are going to get our chick, we are going to replace these ones with the plastic ones, so that our chicken are having the best environment. So we are going to replace these ones. So you can improvise, use plates. You can improvise, use tray. You can improvise and use, I mean, the tray, the box trays can also serve as feeders for the one-day chicks. Then we have the drinkers here. Yes, this right here is our drinker, and of course, one could also improvise by cutting maybe jerry cans or using any other saucepan which could hold water. Of course, they are so wasteful. This one could be the best. And my advice to every other farmer out there is that, please, if you're buying the drinkers, it is good, buy at least from 3 liters. This is a 3-liter drinker. This one can hold at least some good amount of water that can serve the chicken for at least some time, other than buying the very small 0.5 liter, 1 liter, which you will need to frequently come and add in water. If you have the time, you can buy those. Of course, obviously, after brooding, you will have to immediately change them to a reasonable drinkers. So it's advisable you can start from at least these 3-liter drinkers. Now, having acquired your drinkers and feeder and the feeders, you also need to look at the heating source. Now, for us, we have chosen to use pot as our heating source. So this is going to be our heating source. This is where we shall be using, we shall be getting our heat. Of course, we are going to be using charcoal, which is a coal. So I'll put in the charcoal, we shall light our charcoal, we put it there. And why do we need heat? This chicken need a very good temperature of at least between 34 to 37 degrees Celsius. So you know the weather changes. Anytime, like now it is a wet season, it could get even more cold, and or any other time it could get way hot. So what we are going to do is I'll provide heat for the 1 day chick. Now, what is the essence of providing heat? You know, the 1 day chick haven't grown that developed feather which could cover them from the variant weather patterns. And as you know, they are actually meant to be brooded by the hen. And as you always have noticed that for the local chicken, immediately after hatching, the mother takes it up to herself to always brood. I mean, to provide the warmth required by the chicks at any time it is needed. But now, because we want to take care of this chick by ourselves, so we are going to have to provide external source of heat, and that could possibly be by use of charcoal. And some people, like for us, we have chosen to use the pot where we are going to set the fire, and we shall keep this on until when we finish brooding. But another person could choose to use the charcoal stove, and others you could choose to use a bulb like electricity. Of course, here in our country, Uganda, of course, I believe in the rest of Africa or even the entire world, power could still be is for us here, it is still a very big challenge, given that it's quite expensive to afford, and it's also not reliable in the rest of Africa. So it will be good if you're not certain about the reliability of power being on, and also putting in place, putting along with the other factors of it being expensive, you could join me and use the charcoal method, which is way cheaper and also works very, very well. Now, having improvised and provided all these other needs, you also need a source of light. If you could look here, we have tried to cover all around our structure. We have tried to cover all around our structure so that we have appropriate heat within here at every time. But we have also left space. If you can look at this, yes, this right here, we have left space which is going to be for the aeration. Of course, it's at the top, but if you can see there, right, how not clear, but you're going to see the iron seat moves way beyond, so we are not expecting any drops of water to come in. But this being at the top provides a very good ventilation that for air saturation, and this during the daytime is going to act as the source of light, and it's moving all around, as you can see. So it's going to be acting as the source of light during the daytime. But now at night, our chicks have to continue feeding, so you need to make sure that there is light during day, there is enough light day and night. So for us, this being a very small and a very humble beginning, we could possibly use electricity. Yes, we have, but we have chosen, we are going to put a torch, a torch, these rechargeable torches, which we are going to use as our source of light the whole night, because we want to have our chicks feed day and night so that we can attain the best required weight within the specific period of time. Of course, as we all know that it's the brooding is actually the most crucial stage in the success of poultry farming. So you love to provide for it every other required condition for their proper growth, and you love to see that they attain the required weight in every specific period of time. And so that's why you need to prepare and have all these things in place. At least if you can't, you have to find a way of improvising. If you can't have feeders of this kind, if you can't have pot, if you can't have, you must improvise, like we have done for the brooding pepper, where we have chosen to use the cardboard boxes which we have acquired just at free cost. We should have put here tarpaulin. You've seen we have just decided to cut the bags which are way cheap to afford, because here each one is going at only 800, and you only can see we have only used quite a few. So this is what you require, and these are some of the basic things which are required to prepare to receive a one-day chick. So for those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit on the notification bell, and for all of you, like please our video and give us your comments on how you think our preparation is, and we hopefully believe that we are going to make it, and we shall have the least possible mortality, which we hope should be 2 or at most 3%, or even none, as we are going to move the video. So please, we shall be waiting for your comments, and we are going to give you feedback. Keep updated. From me, Alfred. Bye bye.